think we're fine. Yeah.
There's the rents.
Why?
We do it when we remember.
Face on camera.
3 minutes, we might forget.
No, you-
That you bought up and rented out.
Camera's right there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll get a smiley face to put on the back of my head.
You should get both, a smiley face and a frowny face, so you can change it depending on what's
Well,
happening.
let's move back over here.
Causing me too much to buy my own house back.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Trent, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. I'm glad it's warm out.
Yes.
Diana and I are both rocking our,
Sandals.
You guys have nice summer footwear. That's great.
we're ready.
It was getting bad. I still have all the dog presents.
Yep.
The grass is so tall, the leaf blower won't push it back, so.
Started raining yesterday. Hi.
Hi. Would you mind signing in on this one sign sheet just outside the door, please? Thank you.
Art does look nice. The wood chips. Looks a lot better.
Somebody said they was over there repairing chains and everything we saw.
Today?
Was it today or yesterday?
Jay. Is it Jay?
See,
Well, we're looking at new cameras.
Yep.
The sprinklers are running.
Yep.
I think
they need
everything's,
cameras on the other side. We need to figure that
we're
out. I
looking,
can't see it.
looking at just taking the ones that are there out and replacing them and getting better coverage.
Good.
And then we're just monitoring bathrooms. If that can't behave, if they can't behave, then we'll shut them down.
Why not shut them at a certain time?
A lot of times we don't have anybody on, so I'd have to come in from home or Lloyd would have to come from home and it's just.
President, he lives right in town.
Was that, I think that was in the job
Yeah.
qualifications.
On
wasn't it?
bathrooms.
We got that ordinance committee meeting,
That's my Bob.
But I mean,
bathroom monitor.
a lot of us,
I'm not on it.
Oh, you are?
a lot
You
of
just
us
don't know yet.
in the village, we could always run and lock it up. You know what I mean?
If I go with that,
At a certain
one
time.
minute, I just think it's more of a.
You get one of those fancy little belts that go across it.
We're gonna have people. I know that. I know.
Then we'll go to the park guys.
Hard helmet and everything.
At least have a bathroom.
True.
Okay, 6:00, and I'll call the Kalkaska Council agenda, regular meeting, May 8th to order. And if we could do a roll call.
Certainly. Larson?
Here.
Bishop?
Here.
Dunham?
Here.
Miller?
Here.
Moses is absent. Needham?
Here.
Yes.
Here.
You stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, I need a motion to approve our regular agenda.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
Any
You
discussion?
wanna add
Oh, that's right.
Andy?
Mhm.
Mickey,
Yeah.
would you make the motion including the addition of item B, discuss camp railing resolution?
So I changed my motion to that.
And I'll support that.
Approving as amended.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Anybody opposed? Motion passed. Consent agenda, board members can request certain items to be removed from the consent agenda for discussion. A motion has been in order to adopt all items not removed.
after the motion is passed, discussion will occur on these items previously selected for removal.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Support.
Any discussion on it? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Brief public comment. You got anything?
She's gonna be talking here in just a minute.
Oh, okay.
I'll hold mine to the last, thank you.
Well, we're not gonna do the last one now.
Oh, yes, you will.
Can we amend it now?
Okay, presentation, Land Bank Authority discussion.
Do you want to start, or should I call Jim and have him start?
I think you should call Jim and have him join, and then I can give just a brief summary and introduce him, if that's okay.
So I'm calling Jim Tischler, who is with the Michigan Land Bank Authority. The discussion we're having is about putting the Court Street property into the state land bank so that, this is Wendy from Habitat for Humanity. Habitat would like to develop that property, and by putting it in the land bank, it gives them some tax incentives to recover some of their lessen your loss. Is that a right way to say it?
That's true. Do you want me to kind of just give a little summary, background of that, or are you all caught up on the land bank conversation? And Jim Tischler from the state land bank is joining us because we don't have a local land bank here, and Habitat has partnered with other county land banks to use the TIF plan as a way to recoup some of the costs. And I know that we're really blessed that you've welcomed and embraced this conversation, and you're opening up these types of creative tools and collaborative efforts for nonprofit and affordable housing developers to make it happen, right? Because it does take all of us
Is this Jim?
to make a difference.
Okay,
Right?
just a minute, I'm gonna put you on speaker. Wendy's talking to the council right now.
So that's where we are. We proposed, and I think Yara Brown too from Housing North, she's been sharing these new opportunities and tools in the toolbox, I guess, to be more creative and for all of us to take ownership and a piece of making this happen. And that's why we're here tonight. We sent a letter to Emily Dewar she's the executive director of the state land bank, to consider this partnership. The letter actually came from Habitat and the village here to the state land bank, asking for their assistance and explaining why we would need that. With the 40% increase in costs, with the challenges of affordable housing, with Kalkaska's willingness to embrace a nonprofit and affordable housing developer to come to the community, it does make sense that we would use additional resources from outside of the community and bring them here locally just to help carry that burden. So Jim Tischler is on the phone. He's representing the TIF plan to explain it a little more thoroughly as far as next steps and any questions that you might have, so we can keep the ball rolling forward and hope that, that this will be something that can work for all of us. Does that make sense?
Can you hear us okay, Jim?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so if you wanna explain, I think the key is explaining what the TIF is and what putting in the land bank does.
Sure. Okay, thank you, Adam. Good evening, everybody. For the record, my name is James Tischler. I'm the development director of the State Land Bank. A couple of really basic ingredients here. First is that in the Act 381 program, the redevelopment TIF program, a property which is owned or controlled by a land bank is an eligible property by definition, by virtue of the fact that it's owned or controlled by a land bank. It does not require any other circumstance, contamination or obsolescence or anything else. And that's the first key ingredient that is why land banks are involved in these types of projects, is because it helps set it up to qualify it for a tax or financing plan under Act 381. The second is that the types of activities that land bank owned properties are eligible for in Act 381 are wide ranging. Every activity that is on the list in that statute is available for land bank controlled or owned properties, including assistance in selling, which is where a growing number of projects have started to rise, including projects out in the west side of the state that have involved a local habitat chapter and a local unit of government, similar to what is being proposed here tonight. So we as a state land bank have been involved in multiple projects doing this type of approach, assisting communities and assisting nonprofit developers working with those communities. What would happen in this situation here is that we, upon petition request by a local unit, as well as having a developer involved, we would propose and enter into what would be known as a land banking agreement, where we would assume title to the property and simply hold it for the virtue of allowing it to be qualified and be subject to approvals, both in terms of a TIF plan as well as a private site plan that needs to go through. And then once a project gets under construction and after the plan has been approved, we, pursuant to that agreement, we would dispose to whoever and however the developer and or local unit government wish to have as part of the project, part of the deal. So you can think of our role as in many ways being similar to kind of like an escrow party, where we simply hold control title of the property to set it up and help it become a affordable attainable housing project. I'll stop there because I've covered 2 or 3 points, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Nobody's good.
Nobody right now.
Other than what we have to do.
Can you hear me, Jim?
I can,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, no, nobody has any questions right now. You're doing too well.
We have received a communication from the village administration, and so assuming that their support, I think, as evidenced by this discussion tonight, we are prepared to immediately engage discussion with your village manager and with the Habitat affiliate, there, Wendy's present, to organize the arrangements for what would be a land banking.
We have discussed this topic in the housing committee, and I believe the housing committee was in support of it.
Yes, we
So
are.
They were.
We were.
optimistic.
And so, I mean, so everybody's on the same page. 6 units?
Yes,
Is that what-
potentially.
The Habitat is proposing a 6-unit development on the property that we own on Court Street. So, I mean, it's good for everybody.
Yes.
And basically our tentative agreement is that we just recover the cost that we have. So we're made even, the old house is gone, and they have 6 new units available to the public.
Is that guy that put the one up? Or no, that's something.
No, that's different.
So we would put the property into the land bank, and then when it comes out, we transfer ownership to Habitat for Humanity for just the cost that we have incurred.
I'm not sure if I'm clear on that, Jim. How does that, explain how the village recuperates either one of you, how they recuperate their costs, or how that happens?
I'll respond to your question with a question. With regards to cost, are you referring to the value of the property?
Yes.
Okay. The land bank's role is not in that scenario. I would refer that to Wendy in front of you there. That would be an arrangement that would happen between developer and with landowner.
Yes.
That's arrangement happens all the time. This case would be developer and Habitat and landowner village of Kalkaska.
That's right. We can talk about that after you're done, so we don't hold you up. If there's anything else they have to.
I would probably bring a question right now as you're asking this, because the property and the blighted property and your investment into it is an eligible reimbursement through the brownfield plan. So one of the encouraging reasons for transferring it over is to be reimbursed for either land costs, land acquisition, right, or blighted properties, so that you were able to clear the property. The gap that a builder or developer may experience when providing affordable housing, there'll be a gap between the cost, just the rising cost of construction gap, and also the market rate gap and the homeowner's affordability. So there's a lot of different eligible costs, and back to your question, that's one of them. So I think it depends on if you wanted to recoup that immediately up front, and then Habitat, you wouldn't recoup it. If you needed to pay on it immediately up front, then Habitat would work with the state land bank and be reimbursed for that later. If you were able to be reimbursed at the same time as we enter in this agreement with the state land bank, then you would be reimbursed later. So it's really up to your village here to determine when you need the cash flow.
And I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, so the brownfield in Kalkaska is funded by the village general fund. So how does the brownfield reimburse us our own money?
That's a
Because
question.
typically there'd be a developer involved, it's a different situation.
Right.
So can he answer, did he hear you? Could
Did you hear that, Jim, or do you know the answer to that?
Yeah, I heard that. I didn't, is that question for me?
I think so.
For whoever knows.
Yeah.
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 In these arrangements for these types of projects, the developer bears the burden to obtain financing and to undertake construction of the one or more units. Well, let's assume it's a single unit for the moment, just for my response. And that the eligible activities, which are identified however that they are between developer and or local government, are going to be captured or reimbursed out of the future taxes paid by the homeowner in this case. Okay, so whatever those activities are identified in the brownfield plan, they're going to come out of future taxes. Now, again, back to arrangement between developer and municipality. If the desire is to have that remuneration happen immediately, then in those situations, usually the developer and or municipality, most times the developer is going to actually borrow up front from a qualified lender, and they're going to front those costs, and then that gap or that total of eligible activity is going to be reimbursed by the future taxes, paying off that gap cost annually with interest until it's amortized down. So I'm going to say it's probably nothing out of pocket that I can understand that's going to come out of the city's brownfield fund for this project. It's going to be borne by developer Habitat, and the future taxes are going to be captured to pay off whatever the total eligible cost would be.
But how do future taxes pay the village if the taxes would go to the village anyway?
Because they're captured. If I buy that house, okay, if the brownfield plan is approved, that tax is going to be, the taxes I pay are going to be captured, whatever, we'll assume it's local taxes right now, or local state, however it's going to be captured to be redirected to pay that note off. The village, would not get paid out of those future taxes until that plan ends.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
So then, since the developer is the entity that's reimbursed, to his comment there, then what you were asked about earlier, how does the village get paid, is an arrangement between Habitat and the village, whether that's an immediate requirement or whether that's a 6-month payment or once we're reimbursed, however that works, it looks like that's an arrangement we need to make as the developer.
I mean,
I'm assuming that's all taken care of in paperwork.
and relatively speaking, that's not, what was it, 32? Is the number that comes to my head?
I think it's 21 for the 21 or 22
Yes, 22.
for the cost of the removal.
So it's not, I mean, we're not talking about a substantive, yeah, we are, but we're not.
And then was the arrangement to basically gift the property to Habitat?
They were gonna pay us for what we have into it. So that we would at least we wouldn't lose money on it, but we wouldn't make money on it either.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
I think knowing that you're considering or already took the step forward to propose a TIF plan really helps us as a developer or any developer sitting in the seat. We say that's very helpful to contain our costs, right? So I think we could figure out a way to manage that, knowing that you're interested and willing to work with us on the TIF proposal.
So the only thing we would have to figure out is when.
Right.
And do you have a preference on that, or does the council have a preference on that?
I think I'll look to you for a recommendation.
Are
When
you-
would that transaction happen? When would we purchase it? That's what you're asking. When would we do that?
No, like he described, you could pay it now or you could pay it then. And I'm just trying to figure out if there's a preference one way or the other.
I think I have to put the balls in your court, I think, at this moment. So I'd like to hear that, though. We should have that discussion.
So any feedback from you guys, please? How do you want us, what
Well,
you feel better with?
I don't think it has to be right away.
Well, our next steps would be to put the property in the
In the
land bank and to enter into the TIF agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds like we already have an agreement for the property transfer, or is that not written down?
Well, it's
Not
not in
ready.
writing yet, so
Okay.
I think that's essential.
Yeah.
Oh.
In describing the payment process, to your point, you asked, is it a gift or are we paying? We're paying for the cost, and so therefore, how do we pay that? Is it now? Is it 6 months? Is it one payment, I mean, however we decide that works out in writing, right?
Jim, does the TIF plan require, council approval? Assume?
If this plan is going before the Kalkaska Brownfield Authority, then it would be the governing body that ultimately approves that plan.
Perfect.
And my understanding is that that's the case.
Yes.
I believe.
Yep.
Okay, yes. Kalkaska Brownfield Authority would prepare this plan, either itself or with consultant, that they would need to hold a hearing on Reg 3-1 before they consider action. They transmit it to the village council, and the village council's governing body would hold a hearing and then consider action on that plan to approve it.
Yes, we don't have to make any decision on it.
Nothing today.
Not,
I would just like to have some kind of direction on when you guys want payment. Or if you could.
I would not be in a rush to get payment from Habitat
No,
for this
we wouldn't.
project.
I would be on the same recommendation, so.
same here, yeah.
I'm sure that disappoints you.
Yeah. Right. When you say you wouldn't be in a rush, would that mean, in alignment with the TIF plan, or maybe a year, or the end of this year, what does that mean?
How long are TIF
What's that?
plans usually? Does it vary?
The TIF.
Well, we wouldn't be reimbursed until the plan was embraced, the project was actually developed and the homeowners lived there and were paying taxes, so that's a process, right? So if you were waiting for reimbursement, that would be
You're probably
a
looking next year
process.
then.
Yeah, that's a process. So maybe there's some compromise in a nice agreement, because that's to your point, 21,000, 22, whatever it was, isn't necessarily a huge hardship for what we're considering. But it would be nice to have a little bit of an extension, I think, till the end of the year or even September of this year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then we would feel good that we would know this partnership is locked in,
Mhm.
right? At least have something in writing and help us, or we would, put that investment in, right?
So if we said the end of the year, that would be
That would be perfectly fine. That would be,
That'd be the end of the
yeah,
year,
we put that in
fiscal
writing,
year.
right?
this year.
And then we could start the TIP plan.
That would help if there was any type of budget shortfalls or anything like that. We could know that money would be coming.
That's more than fair.
So do we need a motion for that?
No, I just want to make sure I'm headed the way you guys want me to head.
So Brownfield takes us up next.
Then I'll come back.
Jim, I think we're all good unless there's anything else you think they need to know.
We as Land Bank, we stand ready to assist and commence on the go ahead from both developer and municipality.
So we would want to talk then when you're ready and.
Yeah, I would love to see a memorandum of understanding in place about this transaction and our partnership and when payment is due. And
It'll be
that-
good if something come back to us that way too.
Yeah, a legal agreement that.
Do you have something? I'm sure you have some
We
template
do,
or
we
something.
could definitely generate that, and then we could, get both parties could feel good about going forward and knowing that this is, the vision that we have shared.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, thank you,
I
Jim.
think it's a great project.
Okay, have a great evening, folks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, I appreciate it. Unless there's anything else, then I will exit your meeting, but thanks for having us here tonight.
Thanks for answering questions. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Okay, I'll look forward to it. I do, I think I do. Okay, sure. But thanks for having us, and we'll be in touch.
Okay.
We'll look in our files for a previous agreement and send them to you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Thanks for arranging.
Okay, we can move
Let me
on.
send it to you.
Bill's
Can I send it to
Finance
you?
Committee.
Or do you want me to write it
Yes,
down?
the finance committee met today, Nikki and Diana and myself at 5 o'clock, and we reviewed the finances and the invoice amount of $162,645.38, and I, move that we pay the amount due of $94,514.24.
It isn't close.
Second.
Aaron, do you know the exact address of the Court Street? I actually don't have it in front of me, but you probably have it in your mind.
319?
Oh, it's 313.
313.
313, thank you so much. Okay. Any questions, text me, call me.
You need to take a vote on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No further discussion, I'll take a roll call vote for the approval of the bills. Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Needham,
Yes.
Deanne,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we move on to ordinance review.
So we had a meeting about, point of view on livestock. That's actually gonna be, one through further review, with the community and, more output before making a decision on changing our ordinance. I think it's in our best interest, especially with our neighborhoods, probably with what we got going on right now. Just leave it at that.
Did you say you're
Livestock.
seeking more public input?
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't buy any chickens yet.
Golf carts, oh yeah, that's.
Oh, now you tell me.
So, also golf carts was, changed our ordinance. I know we had some out there that were, taking the registration details off of that. And something I don't know that we were even doing, but it's on our ordinance and we're taking that off. And
Is that in our packet?
I saw the email.
I don't remember seeing it in our packet.
Yeah, I don't have
Okay.
a formal
Yeah,
ordinance
so-
drafted yet to amend that.
And that's, since we're not doing that, let's get off the ordinance.
Basically, we have a ORV ordinance that was written a few years ago with things in it that we've never done, including registering golf carts. It says you can't use them when it's inclement weather. If you wanna drive your golf cart in the rain, I don't know why we care. Just, it was taking some things out that just don't apply, but we still need to have a golf cart ordinances because under state law, a golf cart is not an ORV. It's a separate vehicle. So in order to have them, we need to have the ordinance.
So will that come up in a future meeting?
What? The changes? That's what this is.
That's what this
That's
is here.
changed that one right now. The only thing that's not changing is the livestock one right now until we go through further review. But the
Right.
golf cart one is changing.
But I will have to draft a
Proposed.
formal.
Yeah, we don't
Proposed, yeah.
have proposed
Proposed
changes, because
change.
we haven't seen those yet.
But you all have it in your email, because I sent it
Yeah, we
right
do.
after Thursday.
But I hear Angie saying that. she
Yeah,
still
I
needs to
haven't seen
draft
it, so
one.
I don't have, I.
Oh.
proposed
Yeah,
to-
that's
I
right.
haven't drafted a formal ordinance.
Yeah, take it. So Angie will propose, if you want her to, she will propose a amended golf cart ordinance for you to vote on.
Thanks,
We would
Angie.
like that.
Did I word that right?
I will have that drafted.
Thank you.
We gotta vote on that.
I will have it for the next meeting.
Okay,
Ready.
okay. Anything else?
Nope. That's it for me.
Okay, move on, police report.
We do have one interview tomorrow for a potential police officer. He's just graduating from the academy. Not sure how that will go yet, so I'll know more after tomorrow. If you drove by today, Cadillac Garage Door has been on site, changing out the garage door openers. And they did the first two, the police department garage so far, and they will be back tomorrow. We figured those garage door openers were probably 40+ years old. Jeff, older?
At least,
Okay.
at least.
But who's coming, right?
Just go.
That's it for the police department, but I'll assume that you want me to go for manager's report now? Go for it. Are we talking about the special meeting, Angie, tonight
If you.
to
so-
schedule?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to have a special meeting on sewer rate increase. And it makes more sense to do it as its own meeting. So between Angie telling us what timeframes need to be and you guys all being here, I think this is the best time to figure that out. What kind of, you just need the 18-hour notice?
Yeah.
Is that all you need? Okay, so I guess availability is the key question here. Mike Engel from Michigan Rural Water will be here an hour before, for anybody that wants to meet with him before the meeting. And then he'll be here for the meeting, so he'll be here for a couple hours.
You still want to try to do it this month?
That
Like
would
May
be,
29th?
if we could do it this month, that would be nice. I mean, it's been a problem for a few years, so a month or two is not gonna sink it, but it'd be nice to get it over to.
Well, that's Memorial Day, going to May 29th. May 22nd,
What day of the week is it?
That's a Monday.
Monday.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Good for everybody?
Good for me.
I can do May 22nd. I think Mason said that he will be done with baseball in June, if we would like to wait until then.
Didn't he say May 24th?
I thought that's what the email said.
So anytime after the 24th,
I'm
Okay.
which is
on
basically June.
the 24th
Got it. So June.
for 2 weeks.
Well, June, I'm gone from the 5th to 14th.
Summertime.
What day is
Can't we just do it
5th
this
is on a
week?
Monday,
Yeah,
and
we can try it
14th
the
on a
22nd
Wednesday.
and
I said, can we do it like this week or next week? Oh, we didn't.
is Mike ready?
I would have to give Mike a little bit of, actually, I would have to give Mike some notice. Next week's probably too fast. Maybe we're better off in June, late June. When do you come back?
Well, the 22nd's in 2 weeks. I come back on the 14th.
Well, the 22nd, Bill Mason won't be able to be here.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mason.
okay.
The 14th, so anytime after that, maybe? So how about sometime that third week in June?
That's the 19th.
Yeah.
That'd be a Monday.
June 19th.
Everybody 19th?
Juneteenth?
Just
Yeah.
What day is it?
Monday.
Monday.
Monday?
That's the best nights for me.
6
Six.
o'clock or 5 o'clock?
Trent, do you know your,
I could be there at 5.
I can do.
see, if we did 5, that means you would, the people that want to meet with him before would have to be here at 4.
Yeah.
Is that doable?
That's doable.
Okay,
Yeah, if 5
That
is
work
better
for you
for
too,
people.
Trent?
let's do that.
June 19th at 5 o'clock p.m. Got it.
We're working on a purchase agreement for the house on Dresden Street. I've got an agreement with the owner, so we're probably gonna be purchasing that as well to include with our,
I'm sorry, which one?
I don't know if I wanna say the address
Oh,
yet
okay.
For
publicly.
a house.
A house
A
on
house,
Dresden
okay.
Street.
Okay,
The gentleman is moving into, an elderly living situation and
okay, that's fine.
I was contacted by the hospital. They have 2 houses that they also want to demolish. We have talked about the blight elimination grant with them. There are 2 holdups where they want to make sure we don't get shorted on any money if they take money for that. So we're going to work on that together. And they also asked if they did this, if we would administer it for them, which means we would charge the state the 8%. So we would actually make money helping them. And that was their request.
Is that for the blight elimination grant?
Yes,
When is that second round?
we're in it right now.
Right, but when,
When
Is
did it end?
yeah. Or is it until months?
End of the month. But conversation with them, a lot of very, very big number of counties are not using any money. So they're expecting basically all requests are gonna be approved.
Sweet.
That'd be
Yes.
nice.
Awesome.
That'd be good. Won't cost us anything.
The yellow house on Second Street, the abandoned one on the corner of Cherry, it's been abandoned forever. They did their lead and asbestos remediation check 2 weeks ago. So they're getting ready to demolish that. We have nothing to do with that one. I'm just encouraging them to get it gone. If you notice, the house on Pine Street is now gone.
Mhm.
They finally got that demolished. I've talked to a potential buyer of lots, all the lots of all the houses that we're going to be demolishing. He's interested in all of them. I put him in touch with Missy Steiner, who will be, because we have to list them and he has to make an offer, but he has built 3 houses in town in the last year and they all look very nice. So I'm kind of excited that he's interested.
It'll be so cool.
Those the ones over by my house, the
Yes,
$300,000 one?
yes.
Did we, get
2 of them.
something added to the deeds about requiring houses?
Not yet, because we don't own them yet, but we will. And for everybody's info, we would want, I think we would want a deed requirement that they have to be developed in the houses.
Yes,
Nobody buys them, it's just a vacant lot.
yeah.
That, I think that kind of
We need
defeats
the
our
housing so
purpose.
bad.
The hotel site plan is done, so that looks like it's going to be moving forward, the true.
Oh,
And as a result of that and studies by our engineer, there's concern that our Coral Street lift station may not be big enough to handle the added flow, and we may have to do some upgrades to that. And if we have to upgrade that, we might have to upgrade Big Boy, because Big Boy might not be big enough because they pump into the same force main. So there's a lot of engineering and planning going on there to see what we need to do.
But you know, if it puts in new housing,
But I've also talked to.
unless it's out of range, we gotta do it.
Cash is working on some things from his end for some grant funding, and I spoke with Michelle Hoidinga at the parade, and she's very interested in infrastructure, so that we're gonna kind of pursue those ideas and see what we can do to get some assistance. We wanted to make it at least that we can handle another 250 REUs, and that would cover anything that gets developed on the north end and make sure it's big enough forever. Because if we're gonna upgrade it, it's gonna be big enough it's gonna be a one-time thing.
Yeah, it'd be stupid to do it any other way,
Yes.
and costly.
And, okay, that's all I need. It's coming up later.
We'll talk about.
I got another email about timelines for planning, so it appears to be legitimate. But I did not have a say.
What did you ask?
About Taco Bell. We all see
The
it online.
important questions.
You know, we see it online, everybody's saying, I had it here.
Online is Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken,
Yeah.
and Myers Grocery Store, and
Yeah, I hear all kinds of things.
Half the town will be gone.
Well, I can tell you it's getting attention because I've gotten a call from a couple of real estate agents from downstate asking specifically about the hotel and the Taco Bell and about the properties that are for sale. So I think there are definitely other businesses that are starting to pay attention that there's stuff going on here.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a chain reaction.
Right.
You know, one does it, because I know years ago they did a study on it and it wasn't profitable enough.
Yeah.
For anybody, so.
They all follow each other.
You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, don't have too much. Went out to the water treatment plant out there. I don't know if anybody interested to go see the great work they did on the floor out there. Looks super nice out there. Very, very nice. They're thinking maybe they're gonna get some high school kids coming out there for a tour like they've done before. Parade went really good, nice weather. Had a little bit of rain there, but I don't think anything that hurt anything. Was asked about getting a training committee started. We can possibly get some updates on training. So they check into that. Elizabeth Moses and Yance been nominated. So whatever you can get, if you can get somebody to come here would be nice. You know, that's kind of hard because everybody's downstate, but if we can get it done, that'd be good. Get everybody updated on stuff.
I would think if you could get it done here and do it in Railroad Square, you could probably get neighboring communities to join and probably offset the cost.
Mhm.
Do that, something to check into too.
You probably thought of that though.
Yeah, I don't know what it's gonna cost if they come up or not. Weekends or in a week or whatever.
Well, that's what they've done when they've done on the training sessions. We've got Traverse City, there'd be
Yep.
10 or 12 different villages and counties and stuff there,
Yeah.
so.
Be a good idea. That's about all I got. No unfinished business, new business. Consider adoption of resolution 2023-0013, authorizing submission of protecting Michigan pension grant application.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Support it.
So
Discussion on it.
Angie, would you like to discuss? You probably have the best.
Dog in the fight.
Basically, we found out there's grant money available that may be able to offset some of our,
Cost toward paying out MERS retirement, or
Oh, wow.
underfunding of MERS retirement.
Oh, cool.
so.
Great.
Well, that looks
Great.
nice and planned.
Want to take a vote?
Yes. Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent, Needham,
Yes.
Yans,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
carries.
Okay, authorized purchase of property located at 106 North Walnut Street. That's one of them that's gonna be taken down.
So this was on the blight grant, however, the cost increased because of the Michigan law that allows errors, even if they're not listed in any will or anything, to make a claim on the property. And there's an attorney group out of Grand Rapids that FOIAs all of these and contacts every family member and every distant relative they can to let them know. I'm sure the family gets $100 and the lawyer gets 10,000, but.
Yeah, I'm sure too.
So the total cost for us to purchase that property would be $10,580.
Instead of 10,000.
No, it was about 5,000. So I think the claim is 10.
But we get that through that program, right? Or paid for it.
We submitted it for the 5,000.
We did not submit it for that, but there is a 10%, we did a 10% contingency in our grant. So we may not cover all of that, but by the time you sell the property, we'll cover it back.
But we did submit that property into the grant.
We did,
Okay.
just not for that full amount of money.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any other discussion? Take a vote, please.
Certainly. Miller,
Yes.
Moses is absent. Needham,
Yes,
Jens,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, this one was added, authorized investments of RRI and bond reserve funds into my class.
So we found out that, which I wasn't familiar with this, but Ms. Needham is familiar with my class, and it's an investment opportunity for municipalities. And it has a fairly substantial payout. And I was just thinking about this last week, and this came up today. Last week, I was thinking that we have all this bond reserve and RRI money that has to sit in the bank. It doesn't collect any interest. It's almost $800,000 that's just sitting there. And we confirmed with the auditor today and with rural development that we can put this money into that account and collect the interest.
Yeah.
Since it's gotta sit there anyway.
but what's nice about this is it doesn't just collect interest for the month, it collects interest daily. Because that interest fluctuates all the time, and as long as it goes up, it may come down to 2 points tomorrow, but it may go 4 again the next day. You get paid that 4% again the next day.
And we can
And
go
there's
there
no
tomorrow and take money
restrictions.
out.
Yeah, no restrictions, you're not penalized for taking money out, not for moving the money, you don't have a limit to put in. You know, they don't say you have to invest 1,000 to get this bid on. If you only put 500 in, put in. The library's been very successful with it.
That's a good deal.
I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
Support. Any other discussion? Angie?
Moses is absent. Needham,
Yes,
Jens,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Dunham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Larson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, brief comment.
We added D,
D.
Pardon me?
We added D.
discuss Camp Grayling resolution.
Oh, okay.
So just
See,
a,
Jeff, you did cut it out.
so we know that the DNR denied the Camp Grayling expansion, but it came up in conversation today that they, Camp Grayling could likely be appealing, and so we would like to still make a resolution based on the presentation last week.
Yeah, we got it all done. We're just gonna put it on hold since it was, it
Well,
was rejected.
if you read the whole thing, the people that were here like that were working on it, they're very concerned because everybody did that. They stopped. They didn't get
Yeah.
the support from the townships and the counties and the villages and stuff like they thought they would get. And they would still like to have those for the support, especially if there's an appeal.
Yeah, we can get some.
So I think we still need to do it, vote on it and send it out.
Yeah, okay.
That's all?
We're good. You got a motion on it?
No, we just wanted to have it
Oh, just
ready
so
for
it-
next
it'll
time.
get done?
Mhm,
Okay.
ready for the next
Yeah,
meeting.
Angie's got that all ready to go, so she'll take care of that. Any other brief comment? Sir?
Thank you for acknowledging.
It's hard not to, Josh.
Has anybody ever read the site plan review application for the village on this board? I know you have. Anybody else? You?
Yeah.
I did.
Okay, good, good. There's 62 items on here that have to be met in order to qualify and pass the criteria for a site plan approval. Two of which that I'm focused on are letters GGG and letter JJJ, and I'll read the first one to you, and then I'll read the second. For Village of Kalkaska ordinance, applicant attests and consents that all activities will be conducted so as not to create or permit trespass or spillage of dust, glare, sounds, noise, vibrations, fumes, odors, or artificial lighting into neighboring properties and adjacent streets or public right-of-ways. JJJ reads, applicant acknowledges that controls such as operational measures and electrical mechanical systems that prevent odor from leaving the property are required by Village of Kalkaska ordinance beyond village acceptance of plans approved, yada, yada, yada. So you see where I'm going with this. All of these are equally important, most of which, 99% of these are being enforced. The two that bother me the most, along with numerous other citizens of the community, my property is located on the west side of the industrial park off of, I think that's what's that called, South Park, Circle Park, South Park Drive. I smelled sour gas for years in this community, and I didn't enjoy it. But that being said, the odor at my house is overwhelming to the point where you can't even sit outside. We have these ordinances in place for a reason. The birth child of this entire industry was due to the fact that the electors chose, without any paperwork infrastructure in place, to legalize marijuana, to which led cowboy growers and dispensaries setting up in this community. I personally warehoused, I don't know how many phone calls from perturbed citizens and business owners in this community because of the odor, which is what led to the inception of this entire industry that we have here. Bob Larson was part of that when we went over to Traverse City and sat with state police, medical facilities, and other individuals and met on this, realizing that the only teeth we had to control this industry was through zoning. That being said, I feel that this aspect of these ordinances is being horrifically neglected. I know that people are working on things. This neighborhood over here seemingly has improved considerably as of recent. However, over on my side of town, I've got about 40 citizens over there that I've spoken to personally, and several others I've spoken to on the phone that are fed up with it.
Can I ask you to have them call here, because we haven't got.
Absolutely. Well, I told them to write letters, because I know you like to
That's
read.
even better, a letter.
Because
so we got
yeah, well,
something.
that's what I
Yeah.
said, if you guys could just write a letter,
Because
it'd be
I'm,
better.
as you know, I'm contacting these places.
I know
It's
you
just-
are,
I
I
gotta
know.
know.
And I've built half of them, so some of them I know have zero filtration systems inside them. I know that we had a means set up to inspect these places and regulate this stuff, however, obviously that's not being done. So I will get these individuals to write letters, but that being said, I hope that that's not what it's gonna take to prompt action on behalf of this board, to start taking action on this. The whole reason this industry is here is because of odor. Is
We're
what
working on
birthed this entire
one by
thing.
one.
Pardon?
See, we're working on it one by one.
Wait after when we're done, because there's one specific that brought up your name, and I suspect they told me something that wasn't accurate.
Yeah, well, and
Based
that
on
very
this
well could be,
conversation.
yeah, very well could be. So anyway, and I'm friends with most of these people, and I've talked to them personally. I have no teeth in my conversation when I speak with these people. I can only suggest, ask, and request. However, we do have ordinances in place that have the teeth of enforcement behind them, and I would like to think that it could be done.
I don't know how Aaron feels, but I think the in writing is better because then you've got something physical you can show to these people. Or a phone call you can't carry.
Well, and again, these people signed on the dotted line. It's a very specific conversation. I've sat in on every one of these for all the growths that we've done. It's a very specific conversation that pertains to each one of these line items. And they agreed to all of them. And now they're here, and I'm glad they're here. I fully embrace and endorse this industry. However, they're not being held to the letter of this needs to be enforced by whatever means necessary.
And the great thing is, it's actually a pretty simple thing, because it starts with an email that says, ask nicely. The second email is state, or ordinance says this, and if you're not in compliance, we'll have to notify CRA.
Exactly.
I hate to get to that point. I haven't got to that
And
point.
that's why I'm trying to work with them on a personal level and say, hey, look, you know, this is an issue, but we've had no cooperation from that side of town at this point, and it's continuing. It went on all last year, ignored it. This year, you know, spring is here, and I want to sit on my back deck and drink coffee.
I assure you, we'll be on it as soon as I know.
Excellent, I appreciate you guys very much.
I know which one you're talking about.
I do
I've
too.
been over there and talked to them already, because again, I get to hear from the same people you probably talked to.
Yeah.
And they've been,
I drive
the
by
neighbors
there
have actually
every
been
morning going to work.
very patient, pleasant to talk to, and very patient.
That's it, most of them are very nice people, that's not the issue.
Absolutely, and they
Yeah.
are, and I get it,
So, yeah.
regardless.
Anything else, sir?
No, I think that's all I've got to complain about tonight. Thank you, sir.
Okay, anybody got anything else?
I just want to say thank you to the village and for all they did for Trout Festival. It went very, very well again this year. For their cooperation with the electric generator and stuff like that, and willing to close the road, the police and stuff, and to work and do that. So it went very well. The rain was not hardly detrimental at all to the carnival this year, and we had little to no complaints. And we didn't have one complaint about the police again, not one. 2 years in a row, not one complaint about the police, village or the county. So that's, isn't that phenomenal? Yeah, I know. And the parking was no issue. We didn't have to tow anybody. And we did a lot of shuffling, that's the word I want.
Shoveling.
Thank you, shuttling, I got the 2 words. Shoveling this year for handicap people. And that went over very, very well. We made a specific handicap parking area a little closer and had an 8-person golf cart there that, bless Mark's heart, helped give us that. And that worked out very, very well, very well. So, you know, every year, you know, after 30 years, it should be good, right?
Right.
So anyway, thank you for all the villages done, I appreciate it.
Yeah, just don't forget to note the library's having their, little auction fundraising thing coming up here in a few weeks, so. Silent auction deal, go in there and bid on something, support the.
They're
project.
online,
It's a
too.
good deal.
Got any cartons in there?
Yeah, I'm having 3 of them,
Good for you.
yeah.
There,
Fish,
I think you can get online and do it too.
Nothing else, the meeting's adjourned.
48,
Oh, I got
Here's
the.
purchase information for that property on Walnut. I just need your signature there. Please. And then we will call tomorrow and have the.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see